In the yoga we have discussed about like yoga system, as well as there are the 8 steps or 8 limbs has been given in the yoga system. That is self control will call as yama, religious observance will call as niyama, assumptions of certain positions will call as asanas, regulation of breath will call as pranayama, restraint of the senses will call as pratyahara, steadying of the mind will call as dharana, meditation will call as dhyana, profound contemplation will call as samadhi. This is comes under yoga. Okay, next we'll move on to the meditation. Okay, you all very familiar about with meditation, right? Okay, meditation, what do you mean by meditation? Okay, not only the all the individual like yoga only, we can also practice yoga meditation, right? Like meditation in the sense like completely we can have a control in our senses, completely will control our body, mind and soul, right? So completely will focus on one object. Okay, like meditation, like everybody can follow the meditation, right? So this meditation is nothing but like prayer. So regularly we'll do at least 1 hour prayer. See, if you'll do at least 1 hour prayer, so you'll have a good peace of mind. Okay, you can relieve your tensions, you can relieve your anxiety, you can relieve all type of depressions and all. Okay, prayer also one of the type of meditation. So in your regular in our regular life we need to have at least 1 hour prayer life. Okay, that is meditation in the sense meditation was used routinely in ancient Syria, India, Japan and the monasteries of Europe. Okay, first meditation usually used routinely Indian, Syria and Japanese and Syrians and Indians, and as well as the monasteries of Europe. Monasteries of Europe in the sense here like monasteries in the sense monks means sannyasi. Okay, monasteries in the sense they will have a separate building. Okay, there the monks will be living. Okay, they will have a separate building. Okay, there the monks will be staying. Monasteries of Europe means like I'm telling in Telugu, that is sannyasis. They will have a separate place or separate building. Only monks can stays there, only monks can live there in that particular building under religious vows. Okay, that in Europe monasteries also used to practice this meditation, and ancient Syrians, Indians and Japanese also used to use routinely this meditation. What do you mean by meditation? Okay, meditation, okay, it is a meditation, it is a kind of self discipline that helps one achieve inner peace and harmony by focusing uncritically on one thing at a time. Okay, like here what do you mean by meditation means it is a kind of self discipline. It may help to the patients to achieve inner peace and harmony by focusing on critically on one thing at a time. Okay, they can focus. Okay, they can focus their complete concentration on a one thing or one object or one subject. Okay, thereby when they are focusing on one thing or one object at a time, they may have a inner peace and harmony. This is a self kind of discipline. Okay, so there are the two meditations are there. Mindful meditation is there and medical meditation is there. First we'll see what do you mean by medical meditation. Okay, medical meditation, it is a coming together of meditation, means like a meditation and yoga. Like in this medical meditation, it is a coming together of meditation as well as the yoga, balances and generates spiritual and physical energies, thus forging a healing alliance in which spirit nurtures body and mind. Medical meditation means here combination of yoga and meditation. Okay, two things we can see in the medical meditation. Okay, together meditation and yoga we can have in this type of medical meditation. There in this balances and regenerates the spiritual and physical energies, and even we can have a healing alliance in the sense quality. We can have a healing quality also, which spirit nurtures body and mind. Okay, that is comes under medical meditation. Mindful meditation refers to focusing on physical sensations such as movement or breath and on the thoughts in order to increase awareness and enhance living in the moment to the fullest extension possible. Mindful meditation means only it will focus on the physical sensations. Okay, physical sensations. What are the physical sensations? That are movement, breath or thoughts, okay, in order to increase. Why they need to have a focus on physical sensations means in order to increase awareness which is going on surroundings or which is going on himself, and which can enhance living in the moment to the fullest extent possible. So this mindful meditation promotes deep state of psychological and physical relaxation. Okay, what is the use of mindful meditation means, because they only focus on physical sensations. Okay, this mindful meditation means they'll keep complete mind on physical sensations. Okay, these type of mindful meditation useful to promote deep states of physical psychological relaxation. It may give psychological and physical relaxation, and again it is beneficial for patients with depression and anxiety. Those who are suffering from the depression, those who are suffering from the anxiety, these mindful meditation may be helpful. Okay, even medical meditation also may helpful to the patients. Nurses can provide the time necessary for meditation. Nurses too could benefit from a meditation practice and could experience a brief meditation during breaks from patient care activities. Even nurses who are working with the patients, psychiatric patients, even nurses supposed to provide some time for meditation to the patients. Okay, even when the nurses are having the leisure time, okay, when the nurses are having the leisure time, or when the nurses are having the like break, okay, that time even nurses also can practice this meditation. It may be helpful for their mind and soul and body. There they can get some benefits, like they may have a good health and healing process. That is comes under meditation. Okay, this is the meditation. Okay, then the next one is, after meditation we'll move on to the biofeedback. Okay, biofeedback. Here, what do you mean by biofeedback? I already have explained about biofeedback in the when I have discussed about behavior therapy. Okay, biofeedback in the sense, biofeedback, it is based on the idea that the autonomic nervous system can come under control through operant conditioning. Okay, biofeedback is the use of instrumentation to become aware of processes in the body that usually go unnoticed and to help bring them under voluntary control. Okay, here the biofeedback, let me tell you what I mean by biofeedback. This procedure may, they'll use operant conditioning in the sense instrument. Okay, for doing this therapy they'll use instruments. Okay, here what the patient supposed to do means, they supposed to control their biological functions, they supposed to voluntarily control. Okay, voluntarily they need to control their biological functions. Okay, how they need to control their biological, what are the biological conditions, such as muscle tension and skin surface and temperature, body temperature, blood pressure and heart rate. Okay, these are the biological conditions. Okay, these the conditions the patients voluntarily he supposed to control. He supposed to control his BP, he supposed to control his body temperature, he supposed to control his heart rate, he supposed to control his tension. Okay, so biological conditions he supposed to control voluntarily. Okay, through the only this can be done through the operant conditioning. How it will happen? Okay, see, if I say to the patients to control your heart rate, control your BP, he cannot, because first of all he need to have some training. Okay, as a therapist should give some trainings to the patient to control voluntarily their biological functions. Here they will give some training skills to the patients to control their biological conditions. Okay, the biological conditions. So with special training the individual learns to use relaxation and voluntary control. Or here the biological conditions how means they will use some instrument. Okay, here they will use some instrument. By using the instrument what they will do means, they will monitor their heart rate, they will monitor their muscle tension, blood pressure, temperature and all by the biofeedback equipment. They will have a biofeedback equipment. There the people learn to control these functions by hearing or seeing signals from the instrument. Okay, they'll provide one instrument in front of the patient. Okay, by hearing the signals, by seeing the signals, by seeing the instructions, by hearing the signals, okay, they will practice to control their biological conditions. Okay, here they will use one instrument. Okay, here they will use one instrument. Okay, here by hearing the signals and by seeing the instructions, what they will do, they can control their biological conditions by voluntarily. Okay, here the therapist need to provide one instrument. Okay, even we can monitor these biological conditions with the biofeedback equipment. They will have one biofeedback equipment. There we can monitor their all the biological conditions. Okay, before control, what are the things changes has been happened. After the controlling, what are the changes has been happened, they can monitor through this biofeedback equipment. Okay, then with these things may happen with the special training. The individual learns to use relaxation and voluntary control to modify the biological condition, in turn indicating the modification of the autonomic function it represent. Okay, so we need to give some special trainings to the individuals. There they can learn. After learning, they will use these type of biofeedback techniques. Thereby they may get some relaxation by controlling voluntarily biological. When the patient is having increased heart rate, if we learn how to control his heart rate, automatically he may feel relaxed, right? So first of all, to practice this, they need to have some training skills. Then they can learn how to control. After learning, when there will be excess heart rate produced in our body, there they can control their heart rate, they can control their BP and temperature. There automatically the patient may feel relaxed. Okay, that is also one of the relaxation. When, in which areas we can provide, in which areas or in which conditions we may prefer for biofeedback technique. Okay, in which conditions, what are the indications? Means biofeedback is being employed in when the patient is suffering from migraine headache, when the patient is suffering from hypertension, when the patient is suffering from phobias, when the patient is suffering from low back pain, when the patient is suffering from cerebral palsy, when the patient is suffering from upper motor neuron hemiplegia in the sense of paralysis, half body paralysis, and irritable bowel syndrome, cardiac problems, and several other neuropsychiatric conditions. In these all areas, we can prefer biofeedback system or biofeedback therapy. Okay, this is also one of the relaxation method. Okay, this is comes under biofeedback. Then we'll move on to the physical exercise. Okay, what do you mean by physical exercises? Physical exercises also will use these physical exercises regularly. Okay, like yoga, like meditation. These physical exercises also we can practice normally. Okay, everybody, all individuals, not only mentally ill patients, even mentally healthy patients also can use this, can do the physical exercises. Here regular exercises, regular exercise is the method of relieving stress. Okay, when we go for regular exercises, there we can relieve the tension, anxiety and stress. Okay, physical exertion in the sense effort. Okay, by keeping physical effort, which can provide a natural outlet for the tension and produced by the body, it states of arousal for fight or flight action. Fight or flight action means it is by doing physical effort. Okay, by putting physical effort on the body, what will happen means there will be a breakdown of excessive stress hormone. Okay, burst of activity. Fight or flight action means burst of activity in the sense there by doing by keeping physical effort, we can break down the excessive stress hormone. We can break down the excessive stress hormone by fight or flight action. Okay, then aerobic exercises strengthen the cardiovascular system and increases the body's ability to use oxygen more effectively. Here aerobic exercises. Okay, aerobic exercises means like you all might be knowing about aerobic exercise. In Olympics we can see these type of aerobic exercises, sports. Okay, these aerobic exercises which strengthen the patient's cardiovascular system, even it may increases the body's ability to use oxygen more effectively. Okay, by doing aerobic exercises, it will give strength to the cardiovascular system, as well as it may give body's ability to use oxygen more effectively. Then what are the aerobic exercises here, which includes brisk walking, jogging, running, cycling, swimming, dancing. These are the aerobic exercises. By doing these aerobic exercises, we can strengthen the cardiovascular system, as well as we can have a oxygen supply more effectively in the body. Then, to achieve the benefit of exercises, they must be performed regularly for at least 30 minutes per day. Okay, if you want to achieve a benefit of exercises, okay, at least for 30 minutes you need to do per day. Per day, at least 30 minutes if you go for physical exercises, you may have a good health beneficials. Okay, you may achieve some benefits from these exercises. At least regularly we need to perform 30 minutes per day. Okay, the studies indicate that physical exercise can be effective in reducing general anxiety and depression. Okay, by doing physical exercises, even we can, some studies, researchers also have been shown some studies like, by doing physical exercises, even we can reduce this tension, we can reduce the depression, we can reduce the anxiety by doing physical exercises regularly, at least 30 minutes. Okay, vigorous exercises means strongest exercises are full of energy. By doing vigorous exercises, we'll have a strong sense of humor, as well as we can have a full of energy. Okay, these vigorous exercises has been shown. These studies have shown that these vigorous exercises are strong or full of energy exercises, which may increases the level of serotonin and beta endorphins. Both chemicals have been implicated in mood regulations, and depressed people are often deficient in serotonin. Here, what will happen means, by doing vigorous exercises or physical exercises, what will happen means, by doing these type of exercises, even we can increases the serotonin levels in the brain. Serotonin, endorphin is the hormone. Okay, endorphin, it is a group of hormone which is secreted within the brain or nervous system. Endorphin is the hormone, whereas serotonin is a neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter means, I have said yesterday itself, that is giving signals from the neurons to the brain. Okay, neurotransmitter. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter. When the people are suffering from the depression, in those conditions we can see the decreased level of serotonin. When there is a deficit serotonin level occur in the brain, automatically the patients may feel depressed. Okay, that is the why when we do physical exercises or vigorous exercises, automatically we can see the increased level of serotonin in the brain. Okay, when increases serotonin level, automatically we can decreases the depression. Okay, even like endorphin is the hormone, right? It is a good group of hormones which is secreted through the brain or central nervous system. So endorphins are the mood elevators. Okay, mood elevators, or these are the the endorphins act as natural narcotics or mood elevators. Natural narcotics in the sense which gives relaxation or which produces sedation, may make the patients to fall in a sleep. Narcotics. Okay, endorphin act as a narcotic and mood elevator, whereas serotonin, when will decrease the serotonin level, okay, when we increase the serotonin level, there will be automatically depression also may decreases, because when there is a decreased serotonin level produces, deficit serotonin level produces, depression may occur to the patients. By doing physical exercises or vigorous exercises, there we can increases the endorphins as well as the serotonin levels. Thereby we can reduces the depression, anxiety and stress and tension. Okay, thereby the patients may feel relaxed. Okay, this is comes under physical like exercises. Okay, then the next we'll move on to the deep breathing exercises. What do you mean by deep breathing exercises? Deep. Okay, deep breathing means taking the breath deeply and exhaling through the, means taking the breath through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Okay, tension is released when the lungs are allowed to breathe as much as oxygen as possible. Okay, when the lungs are allowed to take breath, okay, when the lungs are allowed to take breath inside, automatically the tension may released. Okay, then breathing exercises have been found more effectively in reducing anxiety, depression, irritability, muscular tension and fatigue. Okay, like breathing while doing deep breathing exercises. Okay, while doing breathing exercises, okay, what will happen means, by doing deep breathing exercises we can reduce the anxiety in the patients, we can reduce the depression in the patients, we can reduce the irritability in the patients, we can reduce the muscular tension in the patient, even we can reduce the fatigue in the patient. Okay, by doing deep breathing exercises we can have these type of we can reduce these all the conditions. Okay, technique, how can we practice this deep breathing exercises? Okay, deep breathing exercises, what is the technique in the sense, first we need to allow the patient to sit or lie down comfortably. Okay, first we need to make the patients to sit or lie down comfortably, and we need to allow the patient to inhale slowly, inhale the air slowly through the nose, and we need to allow the patient to exhale the air through the mouth. And while inhaling, place one hand below the ribs, allow that hand to expand outward when inhaled, let the hand fall back to its original position when exhale. Exhalation should take twice as long as inhalation. I'll tell you the technique here. What he has to do means, first as a nurse we need to allow the patient to sit or lying down position comfortably. Okay, after sitting or lying down position comfortably, we need to ask the patients to inhale the air slowly through the nose, and again we need to advise the patient to exhale the air slowly through the mouth. When he is inhaling the air through the nose, what we have to do means, we need to advise the patient to keep one hand below the rib. When he is inhaling, we need to advise the patient to keep one hand below the rib, and during inhalation of the air inside the lungs, what he need to do means, he need to expand his hand below the ribs. Okay, he need to expand his hand below the ribs. Okay, after inhalation, when he is doing exhalation, while doing exhalation, automatically the hand supposed to go into a original position. Okay, that is the practice. Inhalation should take twice as long as inhalation. Okay, this is the technique. Okay, need to sit or lie down comfortably. We need to advise the patient to inhale slowly through the nose, exhale slowly through the mouth, and when he is inhaling, he need to keep one hand below the rib. While during inhalation, he need to expand his hand below the rib, and when he is exhaling the air, he need to keep that hand to automatically the hand supposed to go for original position. Exhalation should take twice as long as inhalation. Okay, this comes under deep breathing exercises. Okay, next, last one is psycho education. Okay, here psycho education means, you all know about psycho education. Health education in the sense, whichever the patient is having medical disorders, okay, as a nurse we need to provide health education to the patients related to their disease conditions, related to their personal hygiene, related to their treatment, related to risk factors, related to signs and symptoms. Okay, we'll give education to the patients for medical disorders, that is health education. Whereas comes under, when it comes to the psychoeducation means, completely we'll provide education to the psychiatric patients. Okay, we'll provide psychoeducation means, education to the psychiatric people or psychiatric patients will called as psychoeducation. This psychoeducation, it is an evidence-based psychotherapeutic intervention. Okay, it is evidence-based psychotherapeutic intervention, and it is a intervention, planning of action. Okay, in this intervention, education about the nature of illness, its treatment, coping and management strategies and skills needed to avoid relapse is provided to mentally ill patients and their family members, with an intention to empower them in dealing with their condition in optimal manner. Here in this intervention, in this psychoeducation, we need to provide education about the nature of the illness, we need to provide education about the treatment, we need to provide education about the coping and management strategies, even we need to provide education about the skills which is needed to the mental illness. Okay, like most of the people may feel anxious when, even though normal medical condition people, if they are suffering from cancer, if the people are suffering from TB or hypertension or diabetes mellitus, if that people also may have they may feel anxious. Okay, even what about psychiatric patients, completely they may may have tension, they may have fear, they may have anxiety, right? So as a nurse we need to, that is our responsibility, okay? As a nurse, that is a psychiatric nurse responsibility is she supposed to provide education, psycho education about the nature of illness, what are the situations he is facing, whichever the condition he is suffering, okay? Nature of the illness is she supposed to tell, and treatment, whatever the treatment modalities, drug of action, dosage, and procedures or therapies, okay? Everything, treatment modalities she supposed to give education, even coping strategies, how can he can cope up from that particular conditions, okay? And coping psychological support, even management strategies and skills also which is needed for mental illness, each and everything. Even she need to provide psycho education to the patient as well as the family members also. Why she need to provide for family members means, family members, some of the in community areas, they doesn't know how to take care of mentally ill patients. So as a psychiatric nurse is supposed to provide education to the family members also, how to take care of the mentally ill patient, what are the treatment we can follow, right? Follow up care, okay? These are the when they need to come and report everything, okay? All the things about treatment, about the condition, about symptoms, everything, even to the patient as well as the family members also, we should provide psycho education to the patient. And it can be given to the patient in a one-to-one base, one-to-one discussion, or in a group by qualified health educators, okay? Here we can provide one-to-one base, in the sense like one nurse and one patient, okay? Likewise also we can provide psycho education to the patient as well as to the group also, to the group of the people like family members, relatives, neighbors, okay? To the group of people also we can provide this psycho education to the patient, one-to-one or only to the patient, or otherwise or other group of people also we can provide this psycho education, okay? These psycho education given by the qualified health educators. Who are the qualified health educators here? The qualified health educators are such as nurses, social workers, psychologists, psychiatrist, occupational therapist. These are the qualified health educators, okay? Only these qualified health educators only supposed to give health education to the patient as well as the family members, okay? Qualified health educators are nurses, social workers, psychologists, psychiatrists, occupational therapist, okay? This comes under psycho education, okay? Today we have discussed about relaxation therapy. Now I am concluding, I am summarizing my topic, okay? Today we have discussed relaxation therapies. Under relaxation therapies, we have discussed what is definition of relaxation therapy as well as what are the methods which we can use to induce relaxation. There are the 8 methods has been given for induce relaxation or to make the patients to be in a relaxed state. The first method is progressive muscular relaxation, second one is mental imagery, the third one is yoga, fourth one is meditation, fifth one is biofeedback, sixth one is physical exercises, seventh one is deep breathing exercises, eighth one is psycho education. Already we have discussed about progressive muscular relaxation, even technique also we have discussed, and mental imagery also we have discussed, and yoga. Under yoga there are the 8 limbs or 8 steps has been given in yoga system, that is self control means yama, niyama means religious observations, asana means assumptions of certain positions, pranayama regulation of breath, pratyahara restraint of the senses, steadying of the mind, that is dharana, dhyana means meditation, samadhi means profound contemplation, okay? These are the 8 steps or 8 limbs which yoga system has been given. Then meditation, under meditation medical meditation we have seen, and mindful meditation also we have seen. And biofeedback, through operant conditioning or instrumentation we can use biofeedback, and indications also we have discussed. And physical exercises, what are the aerobic exercises, what are the vigorous exercises, what serotonin level increases, what will happen, everything, what are the uses of physical exercises, okay? Then aerobic exercises, everything we have discussed in the physical exercises. Then deep breathing exercises, the technique also we have discussed, in which areas we can use this deep breathing exercise also we have discussed. And psycho education, where we can provide psycho education to the people, we have discussed all, okay? Thank you ma'am, thank you my dear friends.